Do you mind if I ask, since you talked about post-apocalyptic, like were there any in particular that like that really kind of inspired you, to in terms of the genre to write your own?
Yeah, look, I love The Passage by
Mm.
Justin. Love it, absolutely love it. And in a review, I think last month, someone actually compared me to him, and I thought, oh,
Oh
that is
wow,
the biggest compliment ever.
awesome.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, they could have compared me to anyone else and it wouldn't have felt as great because he is one of my favorite writers. And
Yeah,
that series in particular, I just love.
that's
Um,
great.
I did read another, it was actually set in Scotland,
Mm.
post-apocalyptic fiction. I really liked that. I can't remember the name of the author, but I liked it because it was different and the setting was different. And the way the author did it, you could actually go onto Google Earth and you could see exactly where it was set.
That's
And I
cool.
found that really inspiring. And so my readers can do the same thing. They can actually look up the locations and they can see exactly where this is set. And they can drop a pin and stand on the same locations, no matter where they are in the world, to see how, that particular setting, that environment affects the way the characters move and react and the choices they make. And so I love that about it. So, but yeah,
That's cool.
definitely.
People are gonna think we're like advertising the passage on here or something. A lot of people mentioned it this season and last season. I'm telling people it's on my list. I'm sorry, but I'm doing like I'm like got a particular set of indie lists that I'm sticking to and a couple of palate cleansers. But yeah, I'm gonna get there, guys. I promise. But I just laugh because like we just had a couple people on recently. I know for everybody else, in publication of the episodes, it'll seem like it was stretched throughout the year, but I interviewed a
Yeah.
lot of kids back to back who have mentioned that. So that's like super, super cool. I do love that though. Like for urban fantasy, I just moved to Phoenix at the time years ago and met my wife, and I discovered Kevin Hearn's Iron Druid Chronicles.
Mhm.
Loved them, but it was like he originally lived in like around Phoenix and like Scottsdale and Tempe, and it was so cool. I realized like, oh hey, I can actually go to where his shop is, like the character's shop, and
Yeah.
it was like a different store, but it was cool. And then you could kind of walk around. And one of the books, one night, my wife's like, let's just like follow the book. I was almost done with it.
Yeah.
And we actually did that as like a date. It was like super cool. So I think
Yeah.
that's so awesome that you give people, that ability to even just check it out on Google Maps or something like that. So I
I
think
had
that's
a
super cool.
friend, yeah, I had a friend who was reading it and and this was book one she was reading and she buzzed me and she goes, I just drove past Jamison Park. She
Cool.
goes, I'm so scared.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
cool. I love to ask people like how they do that. I actually asked Kevin. I met Kevin in person, and I was like, "How did you?" And it was so cool to be able to just do that because I do love when authors do that. So I totally understand where your friend's coming from. It's like you have that personal, deeper connection, to a story that you really enjoy. It's like there's very few things I think that you can, find that are like that and that are just super cool. So I think that's
I
that's really
often go
good on your part.
Yeah. I often go on what I call work trips and I'll go, "Oh, I really want to set, I really need to set, like, especially with this new series, I really needed to set it on a peninsula somewhere.
Mm,
And I found a peninsula and I went, I've never been there. Oh, work trip time.
smart.
And so I go up and I immerse myself in the environment for a couple of days. I
Yeah.
walk around and I talk to the locals and that kind of thing. So,
Man, that's really smart.